Hello everyone, my name's Caden and welcome back to more, if it'll show up on screen. It's Chaos Child. Last time, we got the Dark Sky End and it was horribly tragic. Yippee! But let's go deeper into insanity. Next up is apparently something called the Deep Sky End. So let's get to it. Starting off, we want to just immediately start a new game. Now, what's the skip button again? Is it E? Yeah. So we're going to be kind of doing the same thing that we did last time for the Dark Sky End. AKA, we're going to be selecting mostly positive delusions. Now, before you go ahead and skip forward, I do want to say something. This may or may not be a shorter episode than usual. I do not know. If it's shorter, it'll probably be like an hour, maybe an hour 30. The reason I say it might be shorter is because there is a good chance I might have to make it shorter because there's a thing with the power happening, and I don't want to risk losing a recording. This isn't like other times where I've had the recording fail. Thankfully that hasn't happened yet. But it could always happen. But what's the point I'm trying to get at here? Oh yeah, the point is I don't want to risk losing a lot of footage or whatever, so the easiest way of doing that is just to make a shorter episode so I can make sure there's at least something that I can upload for you guys.
Eh?
But yeah, I want to play it safe. Anyways, this is all going to be going pretty much the exact same as last time, except for one spot in Chapter 3, there will be a delusion where Hinai and Takaru are preparing together for the festival. And during that delusion, I have to pick, it just says don't pick positive. It doesn't say whether to pick negative or not. Pick that. Hey, Kurusu. I guess it just means I can select either. It doesn't specify if I have to pick negative or neutral. It just says don't pick positive. So I guess that means I can just choose either or. That's what I'm going to assume it means. But otherwise, everything else stays the same and is positive. Hi, Kazuki. Right? So last ending was horrifying. I felt like I actually went insane for a little bit after watching it. So I can't wait to see how much worse it gets. Additional. Stop it. Is this gonna be the stupid Star Wars one again? Oh, now it's that one. Yeah. I'm sorry. Space Wars. There's all the new gen murders. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with the house power. But every now and then it just wants to not work, even when everything is fine. Like, there's not a storm outside or anything like that. It's just sometimes the power decides to go kaput. And it's not often either. It's like once every couple months or something like that. It's not often, but it happens. And I don't know why. I genuinely do not understand why. Shoot. Um... Hmm. Well, I accidentally screwed up and did not pick right. I wasn't paying attention, which means we have to go back. I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. I am a mess right now. I could just restart the recording, and I probably should, but I feel like that wouldn't give you the authentic Caden experience, which is infinite scuff, infinite anxiety. Just bear with me, folks. Please. If you want to skip it, you can. Just let me have this. I got stressed about the power, because I always get stressed. I'm stressed about everything. I'm 24 and I've got gray hair, like silver hairs popping up, alright? Because I spend 90% of my existence doing nothing but stressing. I can make gray hair, or silver hair rock, though. It's not even really gray. I mean, it is technically gray, but it looks more silver to me. Maybe that's because of how the way it mixes in with my hair, though. I'm just going on like a personal like trauma dump, aren't I? Anyways, this guy's dying, by the way. I just need to make sure I don't screw it up this time. That I don't accidentally, don't accidentally select skip forward without doing anything. Ugh. Anyways, there's Bloodtoon. I'm scared of this game as well. I think that's also adding to the anxiety.
Eh?
Me being scared of this game is definitely adding on to the anxiety, I think, because this game scares me. I'm gonna be honest with you. In one ending, I had to watch our main character rot away, while being held by somebody who loves him, while pretending that they were still alive, which was terrifying. And then in another ending, I had to watch... In the other ending, I had to watch the main character's childhood friend, one of the main character's best friends, murder his little sister. Oh yeah, I had to watch a kid die and get put into pieces. Literally. I had to watch Kurusu die. I had to witness Takaru become psychotic, not scientific. And I had to feel my brain begin rotting from the inside out because of all the insanity. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely am having... these games are absolutely amazing. Do not get me wrong. But Jesus Christ, my brain is so tired of the psychological strain of these games. And I feel like I desperately need a break from them. But I'm gonna push on. Maybe at a slower pace, maybe. Like once every once every other day. But the point is, I'm not giving up on this game. I want to beat it, because I really do like the game. It's just... oh my god, this psychological strain feels like... I feel like I'm going nutty. More nutty than I already am. I'm just gonna be very careful with letting things play out. Additional. Again, I just have to make sure that once we get to chapter 3, that when it's a delusion regarding Takaru and Hinae, that I just need to make sure that I don't accidentally select positive for them. Anyways, we're back to where we almost just were. So last route was Hinae's. Again, I would assume that there's at least one route for each person with a D sword, which would probably mean there's definitely a Karusu route. I feel like there's guaranteed to be a Onoe route. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Uki route. Now, do I think there's a Yui route? That would be, I don't think that's impossible, but I do think it's unlikely. Although, no, maybe it's not unlikely. I don't know. Anyways, make sure I let the delusion play out. Something that I do find interesting in this list to get, in this list of endings to get, I have here, the guide. That's what I'm trying to, that's the word I'm looking for. In the guide, it actually mentions how, what's the words I'm looking for? There's the ending that we're going to be getting after the Deep Sky end. There's technically two endings. Both are close to each other, and you technically only need one in order to get the true ending. You only need one of the two to get the true ending. That being said, we're going to get both. It recommends we get both, and even if it didn't recommend both, I probably was going to want to get both. And I will say that, we'll probably start getting the bad endings once we get before we do the second to last ending, I'll probably get all the bad endings, is what I'm thinking of doing. That's what I'm thinking, at least. There are probably better opportunities to get all these. But, I got nothing. I don't know what I was even going to say. I kind of lost track. What was I talking about? Anyways, just continue picking all the normals. Common. Ooh, excuse me. Common route. We're not in chapter 2 yet, are we? I think we're about to enter chapter 2, right? Oh, right. Chapter 2 begins when it's when the sumo sticker stares, right? I think. Do. But yeah, if these episodes start getting shorter for Chaos Child, it's A, because, again, I'm paranoid about if the power goes out. But more than anything, it's honestly more that I feel like I have to start taking this game in smaller bites. Otherwise, it's going to overwhelm me. So, it'll technically make the game longer. Or the playthrough longer. But that's only because it'll be split up into hour-long episodes. At minimum, I would like to at least do hour 30, though, so it's at least closer to the usual 2 hours. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably just start switching these to hour 30. Not 2 hours, but not 1 hour either. I feel like 1 hour is too short. 2 hours is good, but at the same time, feels just a tad too much for this game in particular. I think for this game in particular, I'm fond of doing an hour 30. Especially with the type of game it is anyways. Oh god, I keep forgetting I have to do this. Okay, where was I? Don't look took place in Genon. Here's a picture of the body. Don't look is you. Group dive is you. Audio bleed is you. Man-child is You. Revolving Dead, right? Next. Buy from Love Hotel is you. Crucifixion case. Oh, stop making me... The secret place near the Don't Look scene was... Stop having me do it! Don't Look was you. What am I looking at again? Crucifixion. This is you. Vampire, numbskull, finger food, Dokun puzzle. Chair. Man. Whoop. And then Arimura. Hello.
You're going to die.
We're still not in chapter 3 yet. So, positive. Hello! You're gonna die. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Please let me sneeze. I can't sneeze while looking at that eye. Excuse me. Hey. I was stuck on that one. Apologies. I feel like I wasn't talking for like a full minute there. It felt so stuck. Ah. I'm sorry, it's funny that this scream carries over into the chapter transition. I do wonder at this point if meeting Misawa Senri is ever going to come back into relevance in any of the endings. I have to imagine she will. Surely at least in like the Karusu ending. Or whatever it is. Whatever the Karusu ending is, I have to imagine that Booga booga! Look at this man.
なんでもない
Skip it. Hello. Alright, video that was uploaded. Oh, let me save. So the video was uploaded to the wiki. That was uploaded to the wiki was footage of the inside of the Love Hotel room, taken from the outside. So this one, right? The long distance shot of the sumo sticker looking down on Don't Look. I'm gonna do a proper save. Because I don't trust this system completely for some reason. This one. Close-up footage was this one. Long-range photo is... this one? Revolving Dead is this one. I don't know if you have to get those right, but I'm making sure I do anyways, just in case. Because I do know here... I do remember hearing that getting the wrong ones for, the wrong map selections on certain routes leads to bad endings. For example, the Deep Sky end that we're actually about to enter, apparently there will be a map section where it must be complete correctly in order to get at the route, the route's ending. Because otherwise, any wrong answers will result in bad endings. Or rather, bad ending. Yo! Super police. No. Do. Now that I see Hinai again, I'm just reminded of all the horror that I had to experience. And I dislike it. I never want to witness those first 2 routes ever again. They were great, but I hated them. My brain will never be able to scrub them out of my memory. Ever. On the bright side, it's easy to tell when I get into an ending proper or not, because the game will just flat out choose it, or say it. Like, it'll give me an achievement, like it did for Hinai. Is there another delusion here? 3, 2, 1. No? Okay. I was way too late. You know, Kazuki's another character that we need to learn more about. She might have her own ending, because apparently if Kazuki is to be believed from from the last route, then she's also a psychic. She never talked, and something about her power works whenever she talks. She never makes it obvious what it is, but assuming she's telling the truth, Kazuki is also a psychic. And I desperately want to know what her power is, because that power, according to Kazuki, could have been the reason why Hinai started going on that entire spiral. Huh. If there's a Kazuki ending, then I think that will just flat out confirm the fact that she's probably a psychic. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know why that reminded me of something. I'm first going to make sure I select positive here. Just to be safe. Okay, before we continue, I want to check the tips list. OCD. One thing that... I almost wonder... Back in Chaos Head Noah, whenever you got one of the character endings, you would also get a tips section regarding their D-sword. So I'm curious if the same is true in this game. Now, the problem is... I don't know, I don't see it. But it would be cool if that exists in this game, too. Yellowhorn, Genderbending, Flame, Fix, Festival, Fakers, Face Mook, Eye Level, ESO2, Aaron, Egyptian Apocalypse, Edgine, Dying Message, Dokun, Dominatrix, Dokono, Desire for Steam, Death Investigation, Dead Content, Dark Past, Do, CSD, Crazy, Crash, Cool, Content, Cold, Cloud, Joko, Chew, Cartoon, Cabbage, Blue, Blood, Bat, Apocalyptic, Allergen, Addict. I do not think what I'm looking for exists here. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Wait. There's more in here. Hang on. Laroge, Venture, Tweepo, Turner, Transmutation, City, Thumbnail, Fiends, Veronica, Tagging, Tagged, Standalone, Spawn, Spark Wars, SNS, Social Hierarchy, Sim, Serial Killer, Self, Sealed, Scrapings, Gotophobia, Satori generation, saying it's cool sound. Rorschach test, roll 9. Right sider, quantum brain dynamics, PTSD, psychopath, projection, blah blah blah. I'm not seeing what I'm hoping for here. I was kind of hoping maybe it'd be the same thing how in KS said Noah, whenever you got a character's ending, you got information on their D sword. Because I would love to learn more about the D swords too. Gunvaru. No, but all these look too familiar, too normal. No, I don't think I'm going to be finding anything here. Unfortunate, but it was worth looking just to be safe. Anyways, I think once we get out of the hospital, it should switch to Chapter 3, right? I think. That makes sense in my head. Right. Once we get out of the hospital and leave... Hi, Uki. So around here? Oh, right, you got stabbed. Up. Up. Quick lightning punch. Up. It's after this scene that I think we get the, whatchamacallit. Chapter 3. Now. Now. Dang it. I'm bad at guessing. I'm still surprised that guy's not involved in the plot in any way. He looked way too much like he would turn into an evil character somehow. Maybe I'm just bad at guessing these things. Oh, right. It's after the friggin' text messages that... Anyways. I'm going to make sure we save here so that if I have to reset, it won't be by that much. So once we get to a delusion where Hinai and Takaru are working together, I need to make sure that it's either... It's just not positive. It doesn't say if it has to be Hinai, right? Hinai and Takaru, so not Kazuki. Kazuki, we stay positive. Is this going to lead to the Space Wars one? Oh, Jesus Christ. App. Stop punching me. Stop beating me up. Stop. Bad Takaru. Lollipop. Why? I was, for some reason, fully expected... hi there. I was fully expecting to get punched again for some reason. I forgot. Okay, this is where I think we need it. It's this next delusion, I think. Now, it doesn't say whether it needs to be negative or not, or neutral. So I'm just going to play it safe and assume it wants it neutral. That's all. That's what I'm going to assume. I'm going to put a save here. And then we're just going to do neutral. It had to be. That... Is this about... Yeah. That's what... That's... So, from here on, just choose positive. Everything else should just be positive, apparently. And doing so will get us to a new character ending. Or... just a new Sky ending, because all these endings I'm noticing are titled with Sky. So who's gonna be next in the chopping block? Do 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 do. Head hort. Squeeze. Hi, Karusu. And I'm never going to trust any of these endings. I expect each and every single one to end just as badly as the last. I don't think there's going to be a single good ending except for maybe the true ending. Whatever the true ending is, I think it's going to be the closest we get to happiness. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if that's true either. Actually, on second thoughts, no. I don't believe that either. I actually don't believe that at all. I don't think the true ending's I don't think there's any happiness to be anywhere held in this game. The only path that lies at the end of each and every one of these paths is darkness. There's only shadow remaining at the end of all these paths. There will only ever be shadow. Into the shadow. Into the void. Discover the Hana-Kazuki route. Or chapter. Okay, so this is the Kazuki chapter. Well, that further confirms that Kazuki is a friggin' psychic, I think, in my opinion. So we finally get to see what her D-sword looks like as well. And why is she... How is it that we managed to go through the entirety of the first common route without having any inkling of an idea that she is a psychic? At first, like when we first saw her character... Oh god, I'm not looking at this. I hate the death scene there. I'm closing my eyes until I hear, like, delusion sounds again, because I am not happy. Oh hey, chapter 4, her words. I'm kind of like just closing my eye, or like, closing one eye and then just looking at a corner to see. I don't want to look at it. It's gross. It makes me sick. Because I'm pretty sure it shows it one more time. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I have my eye on one corner of the screen. You gonna show me anything? Because I refuse to believe. Yep, I knew it. I saw the background. Okay, maybe I'm safe to look again. I say that, and I'm gonna get jump scared by that stupid image again of him dying like that. I'm just gonna continue selecting positive from here on. It doesn't say if I have to, but well, actually, it'll probably be fine. Anyways, let me make sure I save here. All of them had special powers. They're all psychologists. Whose eyes are those eyes? Whose eyes are those eyes? Whose eyes? Do I want to keep hitting positive? I don't think I do, to be honest with you. I'm going to keep doing it until we get into the new chapter. But once we get into the new chapter... Please don't... Put some clothes on! Oh, hey. Delusion again. So I wonder when's this route gonna split off? Hinai's route split off, the Dark Sky end split off when Hinai and Takaru got attacked. But I'm just getting flashbanged by the game and it's making me forget what I'm talking about. The Hinai... I'm just calling it Hinai chapter at this point. The Hinai route split off from the main route, or from the common route, once we got to the point where they were attacked by Hidoriko. So I imagine this route will split at some point with Kazuki but I don't know when that could happen. And it could just be at a random moment that Kazuki decides to just show up. Hopefully we actually get more of her talking, at least. Also, Onoe, I think you're about to die brutally. Same with you, Ito. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ow. And choking. Oh. Am I crazy or is... No. Yeah, no, those are... The lights on top are blue, but the lights on the ground are green. I still don't see two sumo wrestlers in the 11th Rorschach. Please stop showing me Watame throwing up stickers. Also, would you like your brain extracted? We don't need that. It's just a small piece of you that we don't need. Just grab it and then eat. It's empty. Yep. And would you like to have a bite? Brain food. Kidnap Uki. Was that image of Uki standing at the foot of the bed's always there? I saw that for a split second, and I don't think I've ever noticed that before, if I'm being honest. I don't think I've ever noticed that image of Uki standing at the edge of the beds. That's weird. That is very weird. Again, once we get into... It doesn't say if I have to continue selecting positive like I did for the Dark Sky end. One thing that I don't know if I should do this or not, but it mentions here in the Dark Sky bad end. The guide here has a section for the bad endings. There's one in Dark Sky, but it says that this ending is almost identical to the main ending of the route, with the exception of some scenes that are missing at the very end. So I'm curious if I should actually do that route or not. I mean, I might, because maybe just seeing the negative delusions will be enough. But I don't know. Yeah, we can worry about that later. Chapter 6. Soon we're getting to the point where, we're soon getting to the point where Hinae and Takeru will get attacked, right? I think so. That sounds right. I can float a book. Maybe it'll be here that Kazuki starts changing things. Look at this sword. I just want to see what Kazuki's D sword looks like. Hey again, son. Get out. As long as I don't have to witness what I saw happen to you again, then I'm gonna be happy, I think. Actually, that's a lie. Nothing in this game can make me happy, and it also will likely not try and make me happy at this point. Stop showing me Watame! Please! I don't know why, there's just something about the way Watame dies that's above even what I like in horror. I know I like horror stuff, and like, I don't know, like body horror monsters and stuff like that are like always been interesting to me, but Watame just feels like a step too far for me. Anyways, is anything gonna change here? It's around this time that it would change for the Hinae route. So if this all plays out exactly the same as the common route, then that means that at this point we're gonna be under the assumption that Minamisawa Senri, or that Hidorika O is Minamisawa Senri. Because we're going to be getting the ID card that makes us think that. Run. What? Pandemic Call? A dance to echoes past. Never mind. This is completely different. What? It was nighttime, but for some reason the back gate was open. I went in from there. I've been so desperate to get away that I hadn't even realized where I was. Maybe I'd come this way so many times that I just followed the path unconsciously. The lights were still on in the teacher's office and a few of the special classrooms. It was late, but it was possible that someone was still here cleaning up after the culture festival. At some point, I got separated from Arimura. That worried me. Oh, great. I imagined her screaming as she was burnt by a pillar of flame, and almost threw up. No, that's overthinking things. That's impossible. It can't happen. Why were we attacked anyway? Was that woman after me, or Arimura? Somebody tell me. My throat was parched. I hadn't even been running that long. It hurt to breathe. My strength was at its limits. The one thing I could be thankful for was that the horrible sensation caused by the sumo stickers was gone. For now, I decided to just head to the clubroom. It wasn't necessarily safe, but I at least wanted to catch my breath. And maybe Arimura would be there too. The door was unlocked and the lights were on. I quickly ran inside. Arimura! I staggered inside and collapsed on the table. I wanted water. No matter how much I tried to breathe, my lungs demanded more oxygen. The room filled with the sound of me gasping for air. Nobody responded. Is Arimura not here after all? If so, then why are the lights on? My throat was so dry that I choked when I tried to speak. I curled up into a ball and spat phlegm out of my mouth. Only then was I able to raise my head and look around the room. Oh, hi. What are you doing here at this hour? Oh. Kazuki was there. She was standing in the corner of the room, looking at me with wide eyes. Oh, so you were the one in the room. That explained why I thought no one was here. But what's Kazuki doing here at this hour? Did she come here after I left for the RV this afternoon? I thought about asking her, but before I could, I saw the computer monitor. It's displaying the same game screen as always. She's playing a game. How can she be playing a game at a time like this, when I was almost killed by that woman? Hey. I choked again. I could only speak in a hoarse whisper. Water. She must have noticed how out of breath I was because she offered me a bottle of mineral water. If the app was off, does that mean she'd been drinking from it? I wondered for a moment if it was okay to drink, but I wasn't in a position to be choosy. I snatched the ball out of her hands and poured its contents down my throat. I drank so fast that some of the water had gone down the wrong pipe, and I started to cough violently. But I still felt a lot better than before. Thanks. I collapsed to the ground, unable to say another word. When I finally caught my breath, the terror from before came back, and my body started to shake. I needed to hide somewhere. I couldn't be sure that this place was safe, and if it wasn't, Kazuki would be in danger too. Kazuki seemed confused by my behavior. Does she want to ask what's going on? I didn't think she cared about anyone else, but maybe she's nicer than I thought. She did come to check on me with the others in the afternoon, after all. That being said, I don't think I even have much time to explain the situation to her. First, I have to get somewhere safe. What was that? That was a bomb. That sound. You heard that sound, right? It was an eerie sound, like something had exploded. You never hear that sound as part of a normal everyday life. But sometimes you'd hear it in fiction, like in movies or TV shows. Where did it come from? It felt like it was far away, but it was hard to tell. I stood up and opened the window to look outside.
Huh?
A car parked near the front entrance had exploded. Black smoke was rising, and the flames were illuminating their surroundings. A teacher had run out of the office and was yelling for someone to call a fire truck. It's her. It's that woman. It's too dark to spot her from here. But I was right. She really is after me. Does that mean that I'm her target? If so, then why me? You're going to be killed, Miyashiro Takara-senpai. Is it because I'm a psychic? Shit. I have to get out of here. As I went to leave the room, my gaze met Kazuki's. I didn't have time to explain. Kazuki, just get out of here. Go home. Be as quiet as you can, but the gate. That's right, and don't go out the front gate. That was all I had time to say before I fled into the hallway. How many people were still here in the school building? I heard what sounded like a teacher's voice down below. At times like this, a wrong sire could do nothing but panic. In fact, they often did stupid things that put them in even more danger. Wait, isn't that what I was doing right now? I felt like laughing for some reason. I just prayed that she wouldn't hurt anyone else. All I could do was pray and run. There was no sign of her in the hallway. I need to head out of the main building and escape out the back. Again? I heard another distant explosion and felt what might have been the building shaking. The glass was vibrating. You're kidding me. Kazuki ran out of the room too. She was trying to follow me. Wait, why are you following me? Why the hell is she following me? If that woman really is after me, then Kazuki's putting herself in danger. But Kazuki ignored my warning and shook her head frantically back and forth, as if she was about to cry. Damn it, let's just get out of the school. I yelled more for my own sake than Kazuki's and started to run down the hallway. We crossed the connecting hallways to the main building. In the distance, I could hear someone yelling for people to get us to a safe place. The area around the school was in chaos. It must have been the people who lived in the neighborhood. Why is she drawing so much attention to herself? Isn't she trying to kill me? Even if she does manage to kill me, does she really think she can escape with all these people around? What the hell's going on? Why is that woman trying to kill me anyway? Is she really the culprit behind the murders? Or is she just a psychopath who likes setting things on fire at random? If she is, then what the hell? I bit my lip and ran down the dark hallway. If it was this dark, it wouldn't be easy for her to find me. All I had to do was get to the bottom of the stairs at the other side of the building. Then I'd go right past the library, then the track, and I'd reach the rear entrance. If I could make it out of the school while she was setting fire to those cars at the front gate, I could escape. Kazuki, hurry! Kazuki was trying her best to keep up with me. To be honest, she was slowing me down, but I was the one who'd run into the club room. Part of me thought that it was my fault for getting her involved, so I had no choice but to wait for her. I waited for her to catch up to me and started to dash down the stairs. But then... this time I heard an explosion coming from the track outside. I could see crimson flames rising outside the dark window. You're kidding me. She got there first. Damn it, let's head back. We stopped at the second floor and started to run back to the main gate. First she'd burn the cars outside the gate, then she'd head for the rear. It was unlikely she'd head back to the front gate that quickly. Kazuki was running out of breath. So was I, honestly. I was exhausted, and we hadn't even been running that long. But we didn't have time to rest. We ran past the cafeteria, then went down to the entrance on the first floor. The entrance was always open during the day, but now all the doors were closed and locked. They were the kind that you need a key to open, no matter which side you were on. Should I break a window? I looked outside for a moment and was astonished by what I saw. Oh, it's all on fire! No way. gate was sealed with burning cars. When I'd seen it from the room, there weren't any cars there. No way. Did she move them there to block the gate? Did she actually move those burning cars, all by herself? That's insane. I could see a crowd gathering around the burning cars, too. If I tried to force my way through and that woman came back, just thinking about it terrified me. That psychopath wouldn't even think twice before killing them all. No, I can't do it. I couldn't leave by the main gate. It would be too dangerous to try and avoid her flames while running through the crowd. But then where do we run to? Kazuki flinched when I yelled. Sorry, I wasn't yelling at you. Where? Where do we go? Should we head back out to the rear entrance? No way in hell. She was just out there. I'd probably run right into her. Calm down, think. As I stood there paralyzed, I could feel the fear crawling up my body. I came to school every day, but at this moment it felt like I'd never been here before. Every shadow seemed like it might hide some danger. I was overcome with the idea that she might appear at any moment, and I couldn't move a muscle. In my head, I knew that it'd be easy to find me where I was, and that I needed to move. But I couldn't. It felt like my mind had been separated from my body. This was very bad. I might die here. Kazuki tugged lightly on my sleeve. And then I got a hold of myself again. My body was shaking, but I was barely able to move. Let's go. We just need to hide somewhere. I ended up coming to my own classroom. I closed the doors and crouched by the windows, using the desk to block myself from sight. Kazuki was looking at me, concerned. Duck, she'll see you! Kazuki quickly ducked under a desk. And all we had to do was stay put and wait for the storm to pass. I listened for any noises outside. I became extremely sensitive to even the smallest sound. Even a tiny noise was enough to make me start shivering. I hadn't heard any explosions for a while. As I sat there, cradling my knees in my arms, I felt the urge to scream from terror. I bit my lip to stop myself from doing it. Maybe it would have been a better idea to keep running around the school. I was too defenseless here. I was hidden, sure, but if she found this place, I was finished. This was the 4th floor. I couldn't jump out the window. If she trapped me in here, I was done for. Maybe this was a bad idea. The fear kept building. I couldn't stay calm. I wanted to run. But even if I did get out of the school, how long would I have to keep running? When would she give up? Was there any guarantee that she ever would? Maybe she'd keep following me until I was dead. What do I do? What the hell did I do? I shuddered. I could hear the distant sound of heels. I could hear the faint sound of someone dragging their leg. I thought back to when Harimura and I had been attacked less than an hour ago. Was she dragging her leg? I couldn't remember. But I felt sure of it somehow. Those footsteps belonged to her. Kazuki gulped. That meant I wasn't imagining the footsteps. And they were closer than I thought. She was on this floor. She was walking down the hallway. She was getting closer. I clutched myself tighter. But I couldn't stop shaking. Does she know that I'm here? Or is it just a coincidence? Should I stay here? Should I move? If I run out now, she'd find me for sure. There's no guarantee she'll just walk by my classroom. By the way, I'm screwed. It's over. I'm gonna be burned alive. I panicked and moved over to Kazuki. What powers is going to attack us? She's after me. Kazuki's eyes went wide as she finally understood the situation. I skipped the explanation about what Pyroconnect powers were because I figured she might know from her games. She's going to kill us both. Is there anything I can do? Anything? Help me.
知恵を貸してくれ。
She's close. She's almost on top of us. All I could do was crouch and hold my head in my hands. This whole situation was insane. I was going to be killed without even knowing why.
頼む。
Please save me.
助けてくれ。誰でもいいから。
Someone, anyone,
助
save
けて
me.
くれよ。
And in a whisper akin to a silent prayer, or perhaps a beseechment, found its way to my ears.
なんとか
I can do something.
かも。
Maybe. Huh?
かも。
Maybe. Kazuki stood up and looked down at me, her face filled with uncertainty. She's gonna use her power. What the? What is that grotesque thing she's holding in her hand? Oh. It looked like some strange creature from the deep sea. What the hell? It's fragment. It's like it separated into sections. What in the... So this is her D-sword. It looks like it could be used as a whip, honestly. Like the blade would split into a long, thin trail. It's very different from the other ones, I feel. But I guess it makes more sense if you consider... I was going to say it looks a lot more mechanical or technological than the other D-swords. But I guess when you consider the personality of Kazuki, I guess in a way that makes sense. Maybe the D-sword is forming its appearance based off kind of like what she likes or stuff or something. I mean, she plays video games all the time, so this looks like something you'd see straight from a video game. What an interesting blade. But we finally have full confirmation that, yeah, Kazuki is indeed a psychic. A gigalomaniac. She just never showed it during the main common route. Or perhaps a spine, ripped out of a human body. It was solemn, grave and sharp, rejecting everything around it. It was full of a radiant charm that enthralled everything around it. It shone with the light of its contradicting nature. One thing I knew for sure somehow was that it was a sword. Is this a D-sword? Kazuki has a D-sword too.
カズキ、
Kazuki,
お前、
did you just talk?
いや、それよ
Wait,
り
forget that.
その件
That sword. I was so confused. So much was happening at once that I couldn't keep up. I didn't know what to ask first.
屋上
If we can get to the
行
roof.
けば。
屋上
The roof. I wasn't sure what she was talking about, or why she'd suddenly decided to start talking. But the footsteps were getting closer.
どうなるか
I don't know
わ
what will
かんない
happen.
けど、
I can't guarantee the result.
結果は保証で
Maybe.
きない。それでも
But if you're okay with that. So that's it. Kazuki's trying to save me. I stood up as silently as I could.
屋上に行け
So
ば
we
いい
head
ん
for the
だ。
roof, right? There was no time to think about it. Even if she couldn't guarantee what would happen, I didn't have any other choice. Will it be related to whatever your power is? Fortunately, the woman had passed by our classroom and headed for another wing of the building. We were able to make it to the roof easily. The roof of Hakiho Academy was a garden. Of course, it was the first time I'd been here at night. Now wasn't the time for sightseeing, but I still gasped when I saw the view of Shibuya at night. I looked down over the fence and saw the front gate right below us. The cars were still burning and the crowd was getting bigger. The fire department was right nearby, but the fire trucks hadn't arrived yet. Now that we have full confirmation of your D-sword, the other main thing we need to now know is, what is your power? Judging by what she said back in Hinai's route, Kazuki's power seems dangerous, and it honestly almost feels like Kazuki herself doesn't even seem to have full control over it. Because back in Hinai's route, she said that it might have been her fault that things played out the way they did. Which again makes me think that that's why she doesn't talk. Her power activates whenever she whenever she says maybe certain things, and she's just maybe not conscious of when it activates or whatever. Or rather, she accidentally activates it when talking, so she just chooses not to talk to not do that. What was she going to do here? Was she going to use that sword to fight? That would be like something out of a manga or anime. I couldn't imagine her trying to fight with that thing. And if she wanted to fight, there was no need to come to the roof at all. She could have just ambushed the woman in the hallway. Was she trying to be chivalrous or something?
先輩
Senpai.
Eh?
Huh?
隠れててもら
You
っ
should
た
hide,
方が
maybe.
いい
What are you going to
どうす
do?
るつもり？
Kazuki glanced at me but didn't answer. Instead, she walked toward the fence. And then she grabbed onto the fence and took a deep breath. With no warning whatsoever, she screamed into the empty air. Huh?
はしご
Ladder!
防火扉
Fire shutter!
スプリンクラー
Sprinkler! Huh? Huh? What's going on here?
屋上に牢屋
Prison on the roof.
土砂降りの雨で
A rainstorm putting out the fire. She's stupid? If she keeps yelling like that, the woman will hear us. She's trying to turn me over to her?
校舎に催
Sleeping
眠
gas filling the whole building.
警察の機動
Police
部
mobile
隊出動
unit team, roll out.
消防車で放
Fire
水
trucks with hoses, 5, no 10.
待って。
Wait,
待て
wait!
って。
I grabbed Kazuki by the shoulders and tried to make her stop. She knocked my hands away. Even in the darkness, I could see tears in her eyes.
黙って
Be quiet. The second she said the words, I felt a pressure in my chest, like a cold hand gripping my heart. So that's it, huh? Fascinating. That's terrifying. I think I see what her power is. Whatever she says, it can become reality. She just told us to be quiet, and now it is a reality that we are quiet. For some reason, I felt like I was being forced to fall silent. I wanted to speak, but I felt like I had to stay quiet. I vaguely dread that if I said something, I'd be erased from the entire world. I staggered away from Kazuki, unable to find the words to say anything. Was this why she told me to hide? That's why she's so scared of talking. That's a terrifying power. Anything she says can become reality. Interesting. That fully explains why she doesn't talk, then. She says one wrong thing, and really bad things could happen. And then makes sense then why she thinks that it's her fault that the way things happened in Hinai's route happened the way they did. She probably... What... They said how Kazuki was, like, kind of, like, infected by, like, Hinai's energy to the point where she started talking. But that talking ended up making her accidentally say something that activated her power. Her power being that whatever she says becomes reality. But she doesn't have the best of control over it seems. Because... that makes me worry. What could she have possibly said in the past that made her realize just how terrifying this power is? Because that is a terrifyingly powerful power.
AK-47
AK-47,
M60
M60,
RPG
RPG,
クレイモ
Claymore. What was she yelling anyway? I didn't understand at all.
戦車
Tank, what are you doing?
UAV
You
攻撃ヘリコプター
attack helicopter.
えーっと
Grenade.
スナイパーライ
Sniper rifle.
フル
And then she suddenly fell silent. She was thinking about something. I should just forget about relying on her. I should get out of here now. It was safe to assume that Kazuki's shouting had attracted the woman's attention.
氷雪系最強
Ultimate ice weapon!
重力を自
The
在
power to control gravity! Kazuki started to scream again, oblivious to my fears. I couldn't take it anymore. I looked down over the fence. The crowd was looking up and pointing at Kazuki. I looked over at the other building too, but I couldn't see the woman from my current position.
相手は死ぬ
She just died!
俺杖系主
God must sue!
騎士
Knight!
魔法使い
Wizard!
忍者
Ninja! I wanted to tell her to run away with me, but after she told me to be quiet, I felt this strange pressure not to speak.
ドラゴン
Dragon!
巨人
Giant!
ゲームマスター
Game Master! Kazuki! I just have to leave her. If the woman was after me, Kazuki was probably safe here. I knew that was just foolish optimism, but I didn't feel like I had any other choice. I refused to just die here. Sorry, Kazuki.
レア武器
Rare weapon!
ポータル装置
Portal device!
エクスカリバー
Excalibur!
ゲイボルグ
Galebog!
草薙の剣
Kusanagi no Tsurugi! What is happening? I turned my back on Kazuki and headed for the door. But... Fire! The door to the stairs exploded into flames right in front of me. Hot wind scorched my skin. It was too hot for me to even keep my eyes open. The unpleasant smell of smoke stung my nose. I heard a sound. It was the sound of the heels that I'd heard in the classroom a moment ago. Oh, great. The woman was standing in the fire, her long hair flapping in the wind. I won't let you get away. I won't let you get away. I won't let you get away. She was mumbling something to herself. I'd run right into her. There was no place to hide. The staircase was the one way down, and she just blown it up. This was it. I was dead.
即死魔法
Death magic!
回復魔法
Healing magic! Kazuki started screaming again. She was just screaming meaningless words down into the crowd below with her back turned to us. Now is not the time for this.
炎系魔
I
法
couldn't move at all. Flame magic, ice magic, lightning magic. For some reason, the woman wasn't moving either. She was just standing there mumbling to herself.
サービス開始
That
以来
one
一
hero
度
that's
も
never
ログアウ
logged
トした
out
ことが
since
ない勇者
launch!
全女
The
国から
attitude maxed out all classes. Lightning Fast not. Yo, sister, what? Lightning Fast Nightheart. It's good to see Takumi is probably still playing the game. I searched my field of vision for the D sword. I'd seen it in the last time we were attacked. If I could find it, I might be able to fight. But I didn't see any sign of it.
チートコード
Cheat code.
アカウント
Account ban! I kept chanting move, move, move to myself, but nothing started to float up or move on its own. Even if I did have some kind of power, if I couldn't use it now, it's worthless. I was helpless. I was defenseless.
あと
And then... It was far too late for it to matter. Far, far too late. Kazuki finally stopped screaming. Her shoulders slumped helplessly. She was back to her usual silent self. Suddenly everything was so quiet I thought I could hear my heartbeat. I was so tense I thought I might throw up. The stomach acid was working its way up my throat, and I forced myself to swallow it back down. It was all too likely that, if I moved even an inch to let it all out, the woman's flames would consume me in an instant. I couldn't move. Was I going to die? Kazuki was probably going to die too. I felt pretty bad about that. Did Orimura make it out okay? Would Serika, Kurusu, and Ito be sad without me?
ごめん
I'm
なさい
sorry. I could hear Kazuki's whisper drowning in the howl of the wind.
何も
Nothing
起き
happened.
なくて。
And then the pyroconnect woman took one staggering step toward me. Flames appear in her hand. It was over. I bit my lip and clenched my fist, trying to ready myself for the pain that was to come. Of course, nothing would be enough to prepare me for it, but I felt like if I didn't do that, I'd collapse to the ground from fear. But then, I heard an eerie, high-pitched noise from the moonlit sky. It was a maddening, painful noise, like the earth itself was screaming with agony. It was the kind of noise that made people look to the sky in fear. The woman froze. I looked back down from the sky and blinked in confusion at what I saw. No, it wasn't just confusion. The thing had appeared between me and the woman with no warning at all. What the hell was this? Yeah, what the hell was this? It looked something like a globe. It was making a strange, slightly unpleasant sound, like metal scraping against metal. It looked like a piece of modern art. The rings on the outer edge were rotating in a paradigmatic manner, and the fractal hexahedron in its center was glowing softly. It wasn't here a moment ago. It wasn't a part of the roof's decorations. It was impossible to believe it was real, because it looked like it was floating. I seriously wondered if I was seeing things, but I wasn't the only one who saw it.
ポータル
A portal
Switch.
device.
かも。
Maybe. Kazuki's words were a whisper. A portal device? What the hell? If she knew what it was, does that mean it was hers? But even she seemed to be shocked by its presence. The woman panted like she was hyperventilating, then clicked her heels against the ground. The flames flickered in her hands. Fire exploded outward toward the strange object. The object was wreathed in a column of flame. But it didn't burn or melt from the heat or explode. It simply floated there. Maybe it really was an illusion. The woman looked frustrated. The hell? She raised her voice in a wordless scream, then tried to punch it with her other hand and... Huh? I could see the pallor of her face change in the light of the flames. She was frozen in shock. Huh? It wasn't just her expression. Her whole body seemed as still as if she had been encased in ice. The roaring flames began to disappear. I could see what looked like scan lines appear all across her body. Huh? I rubbed my eyes thinking I was hallucinating again. What is it? Ah! Uh, uh, oh. Oh my god. But in an instant, her body dissolved into tiny particles. Red blood splattered everywhere. Kazuki might have the most dangerous power of them all. 'Cause whatever it is, whatever the exact specifications of it are, if you don't obey it, you're vaporized. That's terrifying. It covered my body. It was so hot I thought I'd burn. What the hell? What just happened? There was no trace of her body. There was nothing left of her except a spray of blood on my body and the ground. What Kazuki had called a portal device was still there, making strange noises. Kazuki, can you make this thing disappear without killing anybody? Still confused, I tried to touch... No, you idiot!
触ったら
Don't touch it.
ダメかも。
Maybe. That is not a teleportation device. That is a disintegration device, I think. Kazuki grabbed my arm and stopped me. She still looked sad. Oh my god. Hidoriko has been fucking eliminated from existence. She just... all that remains of her is just some blood. That's all. No skin, no bones, no organs, and no flames. All that's left is a little bit of blood. Kazuki, what the hell? How is it that we go through the entirety of the common route and we don't even know a single thing about Kazuki and only now realize just how freaking powerful she is?
It
might be a teleporter. Maybe. They're in ESO too.
ESO 2? Teleporter? ESO 2 was the game Kazuki played all the time, right?
I might have made it real. Maybe.
Where did you teleport her to? The afterlife? Hell? I don't know. The blood says... I don't know what the blood says. What does she mean, maybe? And wait, what does she mean by made it real?
It's the same graphical effect as when someone uses the portal in ESO 2, maybe.
Graphical effect? What does that mean? Oh, you mean the scan lines, don't you? What does she mean by graphical effect? No, I knew what she meant. That wasn't the issue. I didn't understand what she was saying. It was like listening to words from another dimension. This isn't a video game. You know that, right? Normally people don't just disappear, and there are no graphical effects on people's bodies.
This is the real world. This is an ESO 2. And there are no portal devices. So...
Kazuki was a little hesitant, and there were tears in her eyes as she spoke.
Where did that woman go?
I think she's just gone. She went... gone. Kazuki, I think what you've created is a disintegration device. Or maybe be better to say atomized device? I don't know. Point is, you made a death device. So, basing off what we now know of her power, she definitely doesn't seem to know how to properly control it, but some part of it allows her to manifest things that she says. Not everything that she says becomes real, because she said a whole bunch of things and they didn't become real. But something did become real out of what she said. Something did. Which was this device. So, there's some sort of specific trigger for making whatever she says become real. And that saved us because it just completely obliterated that Hidoriko's existence. Not even the clothes are remaining. The woman had disappeared right in front of me. Like, if they see Takaru covered in blood, can they even pin anything on him? There is no body. There's no clothes. There's nothing. There is jack all. And what, you gonna DNA test the blood and then say that we killed him? What proof you got? There's nothing. It was like she'd been dissolved into tiny little pieces. Whose blood was on my clothes and on the ground?
I may have done something terrible. Maybe.
Her words were vague, but she covered her face with her hands and fell to the ground, crying. That is a Next to her, I vomited from the smell. Yeah, that woman was dead. I didn't know why exactly, but I felt sure of it. I felt no relief at having survived. I'd long since given up trying to take in everything that was going on around me. cheat.
Shortly afterward, Kazuki and I had fled the school. I couldn't walk through Shibuya in blood-covered clothes, and I wanted to stay out of sight. As I wondered what to do, Kazuki pulled me by the hand.
うち
My place. Come.
かも。
Maybe.
カズキ。
Kazuki. I didn't ask why her Japanese was so weird. Where was her house? What if her family found me? I didn't have the energy left to ask. Kazuki looked exhausted and frightened. She's done some terrible things accidentally with her power, hasn't she? She's killed people without even meaning to because she doesn't understand her power. Hasn't she? That seems like the obvious conclusion. Why else would she never speak with a power like that? If she knew how to control it, then she'd probably still talk. Maybe less than a normal person, sure, but she doesn't know how to control it. She doesn't know exactly how her power works. Why is it that some words cause things to manifest and others don't? And it's that fear, the fear that she'll accidentally do something, summon something that'll kill somebody, that scares her. I mean, I don't blame her. You wouldn't want to talk if it meant every chance of you speaking meant somebody die. It could potentially result in somebody's death. Sure, it saved us, but it could have just as easily killed us if we had made a mistake regarding that weird device. I was sure I did too. I didn't realize how nice the Hekigawa student dorms were. There was nothing like Alba dorm. The room did smell a little like squid. The student dorms were about a 5-minute walk from the school. Kazuki said she lived here alone. The dorm rooms were like suites at an extended stay hotel. All rooms were private, and there were no dorm mother to make meals or do anything else. This might be the best place to stay out of sight, huh? I didn't have the energy to go back to the RV. And I didn't want to see anyone right now. Instead of changing or sitting on the bed, Kazuki went to the corner of the room and crouched down. I sat on the floor a distance away from her. I brought my knees up and buried my head into them. Suddenly I was starting to shiver. When I closed my eyes, I could see the flames and the look on the woman's face in the last second of her life. How wonderful would it be if all of that, from the pyrokinetic woman to the attack, even Kazuki talking, was just a dream? I clutched myself tighter, trying to stop myself from shaking. Oh. Kazuki started to cry. I remembered reading in Cool Cat Press about how... Shut the fuck... I didn't feel like trying that now all the time. I couldn't come up with anything else to say to make her feel better either. I didn't have good enough social skills and I didn't feel up to it anyway. So all I could do was pretend I didn't hear her. But even after 30 minutes, I could still hear her crying. Then for some reason, she slowly stood up and headed for the front door.
Kazuki.
Kazuki, where are you going? Doesn't tell me anything.
やっぱり
I thought maybe I should call the
警察。
police.
私
Because maybe I killed her.
殺したかもだから。
So, I think I noticed something. She has her own workaround with the thing, but she keeps saying maybe, and everything that she's saying, she keeps using the word maybe. Maybe she's figured out that by using the word maybe in her senses, she can at least keep her abilities' power at bay. Like, she can prevent it by always including maybe. Because without the maybe, it becomes confirmation. But that still makes sense then why she wouldn't talk like that normally, because... Well, you tell me, every student would look at her like she's insane if every single sentence of hers included the word maybe. Wait, calm down! I quickly ran over to her and grabbed her by the shoulders.
Kazuki lost her balance and fell into my arms. I fell backward too, and I was unlucky enough to knock my back up against the low table. I writhed in pain for a minute, unable to breathe. As I waited for the pain to subside, Kazuki slowly got off me and sat down next to me.
使いたく
I didn't
なかった
want to use them.
こんな結果にな
I
るかもって
that this might happen.
和樹のせいじゃ
It's not your fault.
ない。
That was all I could say. I didn't want to think about whose fault it might be then. It wasn't my fault either. That woman was the one who attacked me.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think you should feel too bad about killing her if she was going to kill you. I understand I can imagine that it's probably psychologically torturous to know that you killed somebody. But I feel like the fact that you were doing it in self-defense and that woman was clearly going to do nothing but try and kill you guys. I don't know.
I tried to tell myself this, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Kazuki put her hand on top of mine.
先輩
Senpai,
手
I want you
握
to hold
って
my
ほ
hand,
し
I
い
think.
かも
It was tiny and soft, and I was so happy to feel its warmth. I held her hand tightly, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Kazuki lowered her head and started to cry again. Both she and I were in a state of agitation right now. We needed to take some time to calm down. That felt like the best thing to do. We stayed like that for a while, holding each other's hands, and then we both fell asleep. I didn't dream. When I woke up, it was bright outside. I felt a warmth in my hand. Kazuki was still holding my hand, just like she'd been when I was falling asleep.
和樹、
Kazuki, get up.
起きるんだ。
うーん
Mm. She must not have been fully awake yet because she didn't let go.
起きろって。
Get up.
うーん
Hmm? She did a double take. She rubbed her eyes a few times, gawking at her hand and mine, then looked at my face, and then back at her hand again.
This
これ
is
これ
Her face was bright red, and she was looking downward. But she didn't let go.
そういうリアク
Could you
ション
please not react that way?
しないでくれ。
I'm not used to this stuff either, you know. There's nothing in Cool Cat Press about how to deal with this kind of situation. Crap, I'm starting to sweat. Kazuki knows she might think I'm creepy.
とりあえず
Hey,
手を
would
離
you
して
let
くれ
go?
よ。
I can't go to the
出
bathroom
ない
like
と
this.
トイレにも行けない。
トイ
The
レ
bathroom.
うん
Hmm. Finally, my hand was free. My body ached all over because I'd slept in such a weird position. My skin still stung a little. I remember the sensation from when I'd gone swimming as a little kid and got sunburned. I closed my eyes and I could still see the red flame. It gave me goosebumps. I quickly shook the image out of my mind. After I used the restroom, I got Kazuki's permission to turn on the TV. It was about 9 a.m. We were late for school, but I didn't feel like going anyway. I decided I would skip class for today. There was a news program on, and just like I thought, it was talking about what had happened last night. Most of the video was of the burning cars around the front gate, though.
We have an unconfirmed report that a suspicious woman entered the school as well. There are also reports that neighbors heard what sounded like several explosions inside the school grounds. There were also bloodstains and a mysterious object found on the roof. The police are investigating the possibility of a terrorist attack.
The mysterious object must be what Kazuki called a portal device.
That thing's still there. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Because if somebody accidentally activates it, they're going to get vaporized just like freaking Haida did.
Will the police be okay? If they touch it, will they disappear like that woman? I took another look at my uniform. It had been too dark last night for me to see, but it was covered in blood. The blood had even soaked through to my undershirt. It made me feel sick just thinking about whose blood it was. I wanted to change, but of course, there were no men's clothes in Kazuki's room. Maybe I should borrow her PC later and order some. How much do the police know anyway? Do they know who that suspicious woman was, or who she was after? If the police do find out and come to question me, they'll inevitably learn what happened after that.
いやいや
No,
まだあの
we don't
女
know
が
for
死
sure
んだ
that
って
she's
決
dead
まった
yet.
わけじゃ
Takaru, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you see that amount of blood, and even if she was dead, that was self-defense. They wouldn't prosecute me. Right, of course they wouldn't. At least that's what I tried to tell myself. When I remembered what happened yesterday, it felt like my legs were going to start shaking again. I was worried about Arimura, but I didn't know how to get in touch with her. I decided to go down to the public phone in the dorm lobby and call Serica to see if she knew anything. She told me that she and Karusu were hiding Arimura in my RV. They'd happened to run into her last night after we'd been attacked by that woman. I was about to complain about them letting her use my RV, but changed my mind. What was important was that Arimura was safe. Serica and Karusu were both very worried about me. All Arimura had told them was that I had been attacked by a woman who could control fire. But I was as vague as possible. There was no way I could tell them about what had actually happened yesterday. I hung up quickly without telling her where I was. Then I went back to this room.
今日
They
休
say the
校だっ
school's
てさ
closed today. That's what Caruso had told me on the phone. The police were probably investigating.
和樹
Kazuki, can I ask you something?
聞いていいか
ん
Hmm?
昨日
What exactly
お
did
前
you
は
do
一体何
yesterday?
をしたんだ
Kazuki didn't answer. She's scared if she answers, she's gonna do something again. The general scope of her ability seems to be that she can manifest certain things, but it's not everything she says that becomes manifested. It only seems to be specific things. There's only 2 things that we currently know of that she's manifested. The first is in the other route, back in the Hinai route. She more than likely manifested at Shigo for freaking Hinai, and probably for her mother too. She probably accidentally said something which allowed Hinai and her mother to start seeing Shingo again, though not quite in the way that Kazuki probably wanted, because the way that he appeared was very sinister. The second thing we know she's manifested was that strange device that teleported Hidoriko away leaving only a splash of blood behind. And again, more than likely killing her, or, I don't know, digitizing her? Hmm.
言えないことなのか
Is this something you can't tell me?
お前も
You have some kind of
能
special
力
power
が使
too,
えるん
don't
じゃ
you?
ないのか
She still didn't say a word. She'd done so much talking last night, but now she was back to her usual self.
なあ喋れ
Come
ない
on,
わけじゃない
it's
だ
not
ろ
like you can't talk, right?
何も知らないっていう
And
わ
it
けでも
seems
な
like
さ
you
そ
know
うだ
what's
し
up too. Kazuki shook her head.
よくない
It might not be good, maybe.
よくない
Not good. What isn't
何
good?
が
私と
It
喋
might
る
not be
の
good if I talk, maybe.
よくないかも
What does that mean? It probably has something to do with the way she'd suddenly started yelling last night.
先輩の知りた
There
い
might
こ
be
と
someone who knows the answers you want, maybe.
詳しい人
詳しい人
Someone who knows the answers I want.
どこに
Where? Kazuki then pointed to the low table in the center of the room. There was a small laptop on top of it. Hmm? Oh.
Oh my god, it's Takumi as Nightheart. He's back.
Okay. Takumi says, Kazuki Hana is a gigalomaniac and a special one at that. The critical point to remember is sound. In other words, her voice. She can spread the information and energy of a delusion with her voice. If you want a nice term to classify it, how about contagious desi-realization? What makes it difficult is that she lacks the power to control it, and she doesn't have any other powers. TLDR, her power is useless. Shit tier sucks to be her.
Thank you, Takumi, for being an asshole.
The person she was talking about was typing in the chat window on the screen. I was shocked to see the handle Nightheart on the screen.
Eh?
Wait, is that
ナイトハル
Nightheart?
トっ ってもしかして
Lightning Fast Nightheart? The guy responsible for the Esper panic that happened just before the earthquake 6 years ago. The one people might have said the one people said might have been deeply involved with the earthquake itself. I gulped. There was so much I wanted to ask him. I could write a whole article just on him. Was Nightheart a Gigglomaniac too? So interesting. She can spread the information energy of a delusion with her voice. Contagious hyper-desirealization. The problem is she can't control it, though. If she could control that power, it would probably be the strongest power imaginable, though. Also, Nightheart, it's Takumi, it's nice to see that you're still just as much of an asshole at times as you can be. It's great to see that. Kazuki typed, tapping expressionlessly away at the keyboard. Nightheart, don't get jealous. What? Why the hell would I be jealous? You're a god in ESO, but you're trash noob in ESO 2, right? Your level is lower than mine. That's because I moved to ESO 2 after the beta test. And a noob like you probably doesn't know this, but all of the top ESO 1 players hated ESO 2. I mean, seriously, no character transfers? Of course we held a big protest. I put it together. I was surprised by how many top-ranked players showed up. 2 of the leaders from the top guild on the server. The guy who was famous for never logging out, even once since the game started. The super popular chick with over 200 people on her friend list. The one who quit his job to cap every class. It was them and a hell of a lot of others. Over 30 of the best players were there. Even the lunatic who took out the Empire Dragon's King solo. The Emperor, the 4 Kings, the 10 Years, and the 3 Gods, and a whole bunch of others promised us they'd help. We were all ready to protest on the server for days. Not one of us had anything going on in the real world. I moved to ESO 2 only after that war. Learn your history before you open your mouth, fool. So basically, I've been playing for longer than you, which makes me the boss. Go buy me yakisoba sandwich. Well, you summed all that up in a single line. And you, Hana Katsuo, would dare to bust me, the god of ESO, around. I will dox your ass any day of the week. I'm sorry. Friggin' Takumi. I really hope that this is just supposed to be. This is just Takumi, right? That's hilarious that he's not. He hates ESO 2, only liking ESO 1. That's great. I wonder if Rimi's at all alive still as well. Do you type in those emoji by hand every time? She showed me that she had them registered as shortcuts on the keyboard, but that wasn't important right now. Supposedly Kazuki and Nightheart knew each other online from being in the same ESO 2 guild. And you've been talking to him about your power? Kazuki nodded. Lightning Fast Nightheart, the legend himself. So the rumors were true after all. I was so excited I was getting goosebumps all over my body. A lot of people said he was a fake after the Esper incident, but it turned out they were wrong after all. I realized a year after the earthquake that I had special power, maybe. Not that it did anything good for me. A year after the earthquake? That would be about 5 years ago. So she knew about it this whole time. I wanted to ask why she didn't help me when I was trying to learn to use my telekinesis, but I stopped myself. It probably had something to do with the reason why she never talked. She had the power to put the information energy from her delusions into her voice. Nightheart had given it the long, and if you ask me, nonsensical name of contagious hyper-desirealization. Is your power more or less what Nightheart said it was? So her voice could basically become the most dangerous weapon if used properly. But at the moment, it basically only can be shooting at wild. But if she could control that, she could manifest whatever she wants into reality, could she? She made a device that was completely nonsensical in its existence. Other things of similar nonsensical nature wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if she could control it. Because again, the way that that device worked was just unreal, literally. But again, the problem is she doesn't know how to control it. And it's more than likely been more of a hindrance than it has been a boon. Because if she can't control it, then it means that she more than likely has caused probably a couple people's deaths on accident. Just saying her mind, and then suddenly whatever she said just became reality. Kazuki nodded.
最初は
At first, I
周囲
thought,
で
I just
おか
thought
し
a
な
lot
こ
of
と
weird things were
よ
happening
く
around
起き
me,
るかも
maybe.
って例えば
Like a friend had a
友
cute
達
pen
が
I,
持って
and I
た
said I
ペンが
wanted it.
可愛く次の日
And the
な
next
ぜ
day the
か
pen was
そのペ
mine.
ン家で飼ってた
And we had this
白
really
黒
ugly
の
black and
う
white
ち
cat
猫
home that I left. One day I
すごく
whispered to
不細
myself
工
that
で
he'd look better
好
as
き
a
だったけ
tabby.
ど本当に
And then he
チ
really
ャトラ
turned
に
into
なっ
one.
ちゃってたりそういうことが
There was a lot of that when I was in elementary
小
school,
学生の頃あ
about
った
5 years ago.
喋ったことが
What you said
現
became
実にな
real.
った。
Her voice is extremely dangerous. But how is it? But what's the specific triggers for it? Why is it that she's unable to control this?
うん
Hmm. She threw out a bunch of things. She said a whole bunch of things before. Like bunch of weapons, different people. The guy who capped every class. She was saying everything, but nothing came true. Except for the teleportation device. And that one only came true a few moments after it was said. So, what is it? Why is it that some things get activated, but some don't? Why did it accept nothing except teleportation device? Why is it, if it's true that that of all the things she would say, whatever she said ended up bringing Shingo back into reality for Arimura and her mother?
それだけじゃ
That
ない
wasn't all, maybe.
かもだけど
That wasn't all.
自分の言
When
葉
I say
の
something, I don't know what will become
何
real
が
and what
現
won't,
実化し
maybe.
て何が
Myra did
現
say she
実
couldn't
化し
control
ない
it.
か
So that's why she was shouting all those words on the roof. She probably thought that at least one of them would
か
work.
も
To be fair, one of them did. But at the same time, despite the fact that it was supposed to be a teleportation device, it sure as shit didn't look like it worked like one. She said it did the same graphical effect that it did in ESO, likely meaning the teleport animation, where, aka the thing where Hidoriko was suddenly covered in, like, lines of code or whatever it said. That's likely what she meant by graphical effect, like the lines that appeared on Hidoriko. But despite the fact that it looked like a teleportation device and looked like it was going to act like a teleportation device, it doesn't change the fact that it left behind a huge amount of blood that more than likely killed Hidoriko. First of all, where'd the body go? Assuming that it did kind of work as a teleportation device, where the hell did the body go? I just had a really bad thought that teleportation device actually might work exactly as intended. The problem is, exactly as intended doesn't exactly translate well when it's brought into real life. AKA, what I think is, her body is probably somewhere. Hidoriko's body is probably somewhere. But that teleporter, I don't think, teleported every part of her. All that blood, I think... I think when she was teleported, it wasn't meant to be. Teleportation was not meant to be.
感染型って
What did
い
he
う
mean
のは
by
どう
when
い
he
う
said it was contagious?
中学の
When
頃
I was in middle school, I had a good friend.
仲いい友
We
達
were
が
always
いて
together.
その子と一緒
It
にい
was
る
so
の
much fun to be with her.
すごく
We
楽
were
し
like
くて
sisters.
でも
But
私
because of
の
my
力
power,
のせいで
Her expression clouded over. I thought she'd stop talking, but I was wrong.
きっかけは
it all started with a
何
simple
気な
word,
い
maybe.
言葉だったごく普通
A
の
simple word in a normal
会話の
conversation.
中のことでもその
But
言
that word
葉
spread to a lot of different
いろ
people.
んな人に 私の知らないと
And
ころ
without
で
me even realizing it, stopped being
私
my
の
word.
言葉は全然
It
別の
turned
意味
into a whole
に
different
な
meaning
っちゃって
altogether,
た
maybe.
かもしれなくて自分でもそん
By
な
the
言
time I'd
葉
forgotten I'd ever said it, it became
喋
real.
ったの忘れちゃったそのせいで
And
私
because of
の
it, her
大切
family
な
was torn apart.
友達その子のお父
Her
さん
dad committed suicide.
自殺その子のお
Her
母
mom
さん
started using drugs.
薬部その子のお
Her
姉
sister
さん
was kidnapped by strange men
知
and
ら
went
ない
missing.
男の人とその子は
She went crazy.
頭元をたどっていったら
And then I figured out that maybe it's
私
because of
の
my
言葉
word.
のせいだったか
No, not
も
maybe.
じゃなくて
It was.
私こんな力
I wish I could
な
just
けれ
get
ば
rid of
よ
this
かった
power.
ってなくすこと
But since
で
I
きない
could,
なら
I thought if I never said another word,
それなら
I
一
wouldn't
言
be
も
able to hurt anyone
喋
else.
らなければ壁砲入ってか
You're the
ら
first person I've talked to since I came to Hekiho, Takuru
タ
senpai.
クル先輩が
Yeah, as I figured. But the contagious part is especially scary. One word, and suddenly everything's changed. One single word. That's all it takes, huh? So that's why she doesn't talk. It makes a lot more sense then why she's so hesitant to speak. Because she doesn't know when her power is going to decide to just randomly manifest and then suddenly she's accidentally ruined somebody's life or worse. If she talks, her power might activate. And if what Nightheart says is true, she really can't control it. There's no way to prove whether or not what had happened to her in middle school was really because of her power. But even so, if she'd been able to control it, she'd probably asked herself that question a million times. The things you could do with a power like that. Again, I can't lie. What Nightheart, or rather Takumi, is saying, the power in its current state is not merely useless, but a hindrance. She can't control it, meaning it could come out of nowhere at any time and just screw her over, or rather anyone around her over. But if you could control that properly, you could control almost anything. Anything would be within your realm of reality. You could probably just make your own realm of reality at that rate. But why is it out of control though? Did something happen, or just you just never know how to use it? It sounds more like she's just never known how to use it. Maybe remaining silent was her way of punishing herself. I asked Kazuki's permission to type a question to Nightheart. May I ask a question? Why can't Kazuki control her power? No emoji. Who are you? A member of her club at school. Oh, Miyashiro. Oh, you know me! What? Huh? How'd you know my name? Kazuki told me about you yesterday. She said there was a moron in her club who had psychic powers but didn't know how to use them. Bro! Kazuki, what the hell? Her face went red and she frantically shook her head.
相談した
I talked to
け
him.
どタクル先輩
You got a weird power
最近
recently,
変な
maybe.
人前とかで
I thought maybe it
使い
might not
す
be
ぎ
a
る
good
と
idea to use it too much when other
危
people were
ないか
around.
もってでも
But I didn't call you
バカと
moron.
か言って
Maybe.
ないか
Maybe? Why is it that Kazuki can't control her powers? This is just what I've gleaned from talking to her, but... Hang on a sec. Recording! Sorry. Sorry. When I'm about to tell you top secret stuff, don't go around repeating it. You know that you need a shared idea to reboot a delusion, right? In my case, I choose a target to show the delusion, then plug the delusion directly in their mind. Sometimes that delusion involves... Okay. You can skip the jokes. I was serious. What's important is that you're plugging that delusion directly into the target's brain. That's what it's a clear mental image that can be shared. This clear image is what's needed for a successful reboot, but Kazuki can't do that. All Kazuki can do is spread the information and energy from her delusions via sound. Sound contains no visual information, which means the mental image itself becomes vague. It's a lot less reliable than implanting an image directly. Just like it's hard to visualize an image just based off of a description, right? Of course, an otaku like me can do that easy as long as there's some... Kazuki's power has one other trait that makes it unique. Anyone who hears her voice is able to echo it. That's why I called it contagious. It's just like a rumor. It grows and changes as it spreads, like a game of telephone. Imagine a guy giving a speech in front of a station. That's her, spreading her delusions to a random group of people. Now imagine someone passing by hears that delusion and takes it to school and tells it to their friend there. Then let's say that person repeats it to someone else. The contents of the speech echo and expand. In the same way Kazuki's sound can spread even when she's not there. That's what makes her different from a typical gigalomaniac. But even if it echoes, it's extremely rare for it to real boot. Like I said before, delusions spread by sound are very vague. If the details are different, there's no shared image to be real booted. But once in a while, there's an extremely low probability that several people will imagine the same exact image when they hear a given word. When that happens, Kazuki's delusion is real booted, whether she wants it to be or not. When Kazuki speaks, she has no way of knowing if there's an astronomically low chance two people somewhere will share the same mental image. It's all coincidence. That's a lot of information to take in. Too much, in fact, that I actually am going to go ahead and save it here and end it for the day. That's the real reason why I'm saving it and end it here for the day, is because I might need help family stuff. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you all later. Peace.
Reciprocal.